Today, I want to have a real conversation. No pack openings, no hype, no screaming over chase cards, just an honest discussion about something I have witnessed happen over and over again in the Pokemon hobby. Because the more I spend time in this hobby, the more I realize not everyone is collecting just Pokemon. Some people are just chasing the feeling they can't control. This is Sokratic Rips, and let's do this. Nobody wakes up one morning addicted to Pokemon cards. It usually starts out with nostalgia. You buy one pack because it reminds you of being a kid. Then you buy an ETB. Then a booster box. Then all of a sudden, you're watching live streams. You're watching Sokratic Rips right now until 2 in the morning, convincing yourself that the next pack is going to be the hit you've been chasing. You know, I hear it all the time from people. Here's where friendships get complicated. And I know this part's going to actually hurt a lot of people. But I think my type of leadership is sometimes you got to say the quiet part out loud, even if it does kind of hurt somebody's feelings a little bit. I'm not trying to hurt anybody's feelings. I'm just trying to be honest in this discussion. You know, when somebody becomes addicted to ripping packs, everything starts revolving around Pokemon. Every conversation, they talk about it every paycheck, every weekend. Some people even stop hanging out unless cards are involved. You know, I think that's one part. Like, I think, you know, for example, I hang out with friends here and there and I talk with them, and it's not even about Pokemon. We talk about our jobs and stuff. You know, that's how I can tell, like, hey, we actually care about each other. We're invested in each other other than Pokemon. You know, some people begin measuring friendships based on trades or the product they can get from you. You know, others reach out when they want to buy something from you or need a favor when it comes to Pokemon cards. Like, oh, bro, can you borrow money, you know, to get a next check? Yeah. And eventually you start wondering, are we actually friends? Or am I just another opportunity for you to get products? That is one of the saddest parts of the hobby and its addiction. People stop seeing people. They start seeing inventory opportunities. And that really sucks. And just recently I was at a Target restock, me and a friend, and I do consider her an actual genuine friend. She is legit. She's a good person. But we were talking to another lady, and this lady was telling us about two people in the Pokemon hobby in my area. And this lady, I'm going to be real with you, she's a little gullible. She probably should have not been trading them things that, like, higher things for lower things. Whatever, that's a different thing. But she ended up selling them products that she would get at retail. And so they were buying up all her 151, and she didn't know it was out of print. They were buying up, she didn't know that the price of Prismatic went up. They were buying up all her Prismatic at retail. They were buying it essentially on credit from her. One person owed her $800, one owed her I think it was $600 or something. The girl, she's trying, she did eventually pay down it to $200 from what I understand, what the lady was saying. But the other guy really didn't. And he really abused the situation. He took advantage of her. He was just buying up all her 151 after it was, out of print. At retail, he knew what he was doing. And I know the person. I know he's not stupid. He did it on purpose. And that really hurt me to hear that. Because she legitimately thought these people were her friends. Then she found out that they were screwing her over. And then when she tried to tell one of them about it, the other one told the other person. And instead of taking ownership like a grown-ass adult, they just trashed her in the community. Think about that. They ripped off a lady who did not comprehend the market of products. They took advantage of her so they can get Pokemon 151, Prismatic, and other sets for retail. They were getting $90 to $100 booster bundles at that time for $30. And one didn't even have the audacity to even pay her back. She thought that they were her friends. And they chose to be scumbags. And this is why this video is being created, because I hear stories like that all the time where people take advantage. And if you do that to somebody who doesn't know better, you're a fucking trash bag. Period. You're scum, and no matter what you do, I mean, you could pretend to give cards to kids or whatever you want. That ain't going to make it up until you pay that woman back, till you apologize to that woman. Because this is not the first time I've heard people do this to others. And so this hobby, the addiction in it, the greed in it, it has become a minefield just to make friends. You know, I have a friend, a person I was in that line with. She tries to hook me up with products all the time. I'm like, nah, I really, if I don't need it, I'm not going to buy it. And if it's a big product and I know they want to hook me up, but you know what I do? I'm like, hey, I don't want to get it at retail. Let's find an agreeable price. Like I don't want to be that person. Because I think in this hobby, you got to be real to yourself, and you have to be honest to yourself. And you have to watch out, because there are a lot of people that are legitimate shitbags. And I say that from the bottom of my heart. There are shitbags who will shit talk and make you out to be the bad guy. And I've had experiences with people. I've had experiences where people that were my friends, who, you know, we're in line and they grab up all the ETBs that are, you know, on market. They're $200 a piece. And they sell for over $200. And they don't think to give me one. And then they act like they're the victims. And then when you call them out on it, they try to make you the bad guy. But surprise, people know I'm not the bad guy. They know you're the bad guy. And the only reason people support those people, because they're all they're all the scalpers in the group, right? And so I'm not telling y'all to make friends at all. No, I'm just telling you to be careful, because the hobby at this point, it is littered with people that are greedy. They're hoarders. They're addicted to ripping packs. They're addicted to a high right now. And I'll say this, I come from a rough neighborhood where I have seen, you know, crackheads and stuff like that. I have met more noble crackheads who will share their fucking crack with you than Pokemon addicts will share their Pokemon cards. That's embarrassing. I can go right down the road and give a bunch of like food or alcohol to some homeless people. And you know what they're going to do? They're typically going to share it with other homeless people. Think about that. And I want people to start realizing that they're addicted and that they're betraying not only themselves, they're making themselves look like crap, but they're hurting the community. And so, again, I want you to pay attention to the patterns. You know, does someone only message you when you need something? Do they disappear when you're struggling? Are they there to help, you know, have your back? You know, like if I'm struggling, I have friends in the Pokemon hobby that will message me like, hey, I haven't heard from you in a while. Or I can even run ideas by them, right? You know, I have friends, we don't even compare each other's collections. We know they have dope cards, but we're not like, oh my God, it's a competition. You know, do they pressure you to spend money? That's another one, right? Do they make you feel guilty for saying no because you won't sell them a product? You know, you got to look for the warning signs, you know, to protect yourself from, you know, these Pokemon scalpers, addicts, you know, because real friends celebrate each other. We celebrate each other's wins. My friend pulled the Dark Ride SIR from Pitch Black, and I was geeked for them. I didn't pull it, but I was excited. You know, you also got to make sure your friends respect your boundaries. You know, in this hobby, boundaries are important. And you need to take care of yourself outside of Pokemon. Just period. You know, sometimes you got to do other things other than Pokemon. Try not to be a degenerate like me and go to the casino too much times. Probably got to cut that out a little bit. Even though I'm winning. Yeah, let's go. But at the end of the day, you're worth more than your collection. You're worth more than Pokemon. And if people only see you as an inventory opportunity, fuck them. Move on. You know, this world has almost 8 billion people or more. You don't need those people that are going to use you just simply to get products or use you to get, you know, the restock drops, right? You know, in conclusion, guys, I love Pokemon. I love collecting it, you know, and I still believe the hobby brings amazing people together. I'm going to die on the hill and say that Pokemon is a hobby for everyone that brings people together, regardless of, you know, of your age. And a good example I give is Pokemon Go. When it first came out, man, I saw people from all walks of life, rich, poor, black, white, Asian, Native American, you know, gay, straight. People were together having fun. And that's what it's supposed to be. That is what Pokemon is supposed to be at essence, is that it should bring us together under one banner, one community, and to have fun with each other, right? But loving something doesn't, you know, mean it ain't going to come with its problems. And in American society today, the world society in some degree, addiction is a big thing, man. It's becoming a gambling. You know, just watch TV, watch ads. I swear to God, if I see another, you know, Kalshi ad, oh God, I just hate them. They're so cringy too. But addiction just doesn't empty the wallet. It can damage trust. You know, if you know people that have had alcohol addictions, you know that it damages trust. It can isolate people, and it can destroy friendships. And sometimes we got to acknowledge, you know, that we're not the greatest people, and that sometimes we're damaged goods. And you know, like I tell my friends all the time, I have flaws. I'm not perfect. And they recognize that. But if I mess up, you know what I do? I acknowledge it. I take accountability for it. And I apologize. And I try my damnedest to not let it happen again. And I'm glad I have awesome friends that are in the Pokemon community. And I'm glad that I've had to kick some people to the fucking curb. Because some of those people, and I'll say this, I will always be cordial to the people that I'm not friends with in the community. Because the community, I'm not going to be an asshole. I'm a kind person. But I am the person. Don't make me angry. Because at the end of the day, I want the community to be a place of peace. I want us to build a community that is awesome. But just don't let Pokemon become the only thing that connects y'all. I mean, that's what I'll say at the end of the day. Do not let Pokemon be the thing that just simply connects y'all. Talk about other things. Talk about other TCGs. Talk about video games. So many people I connect with at Pokemon Restocks, we talk about other stuff. You know, I be breaking the wall down of those antisocial people. It's pretty funny though. But real friends should last longer than the next set release, period. And I'm going to say this hot take. There's going to be a lot of friendships that will go through a breakup with Pokemon 30th anniversary set. Because it's about to get real and there's going to be a lot of backstabbing. So be careful out there. Align yourself with awesome people that love you for who you are, that want to help you grow and become a better person, and kick those other people to the curb. So let me know down in the comments, have you had an experience where you thought somebody was your friend in the Pokemon community and they turned out that they just wanted to try to use you for whatever reason, whether it's to get Pokemon cards or to find out when the restocks are? So let me know down in the comments. And if you like more videos like this, let me know. So please make sure to like, subscribe. You know I'm always going to greatly appreciate it. This is Sokratic Ribs. And I'll catch you in the next one. Peace.